We are into the production of great starch, high quality cassava flour, sorbitol. We use cassava as our main raw material.
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Getting value from agricultural produce is a very lucrative business that many do not know. The few who know are making millions in dollars. Let's take a look at the Nigerian company that is turning cassava into millions of dollars, led by a woman.
Cassava being a very potential commodity that can improve the lot of Nigerians. Because from cassava itself, we can derive so many industrial products that would help the industries to grow. And of course, as we expand the cassava base, a lot of families will benefit from it, and micro, small to medium enterprises that are cassava based would improve their earnings and the economy will grow.
As they say, what a man does, a woman can do better. This very company is one of many that took advantage of the CBN import prohibition list. Yemisi, as she is called, first set up a cassava processing plant where they extract the starch from cassava, process it and sell it to international companies. According to data, they have sold more than $20 million worth of starch to the Nigerian breweries, Nestle, Unilever and many other multinationals.
In 2019, we decided to do something a bit more novel than what we've been doing before. So we decided to use the same cassava to produce sorbitol for toothpaste.
MEC launched her own agricultural production company in Nigeria, and the results have been nothing short of inspiring. Her journey began when the Central Bank of Nigeria released an import prohibition list. The list stopped certain products from getting foreign exchange through official channels. Anyone who wanted to import those items had to source for dollars on the black market. As we all know, the black market exchange rate has been unstable, and sometimes it is even impossible to find dollars. This made import difficult and expensive, which created an opportunity for people to set up local factories to produce these items. Yemisi saw this opportunity and seized it. She ventured into cassava processing. At first, she started with cassava starch processing plant. In those early days, things were tough because starch was still being imported freely and her sales were not impressive. But the moment starch was added to the CBN prohibition list, everything changed. Suddenly, multinational companies that once relied on import turned to her factory to meet their supply needs. Almost overnight, production jumped to 40 tons per day. Before long, Yemisi's company has sold over $20 million worth of cassava starch to giants like Nigerian breweries, Nestle, Unilever and many others. Before the ban, these same companies were importing over $7 million worth of starch every year. But once they could no longer import it easily, Yemisi became their solution. Her success with starch encouraged her to take an even bolder step. She decided to expand into another cassava byproduct that Nigeria had also been importing: sorbitol.
In 2019, we decided to do something a bit more novel than what we've been doing before. So we decided to use the same cassava to produce sorbitol for toothpaste.
The challenge was that there were no cassava to sorbitol processing plants in Nigeria, and even if anywhere else in Africa, Yemisi and her team had to design one themselves. The result of their hard work was groundbreaking. They built the world's second largest cassava to sorbitol processing plant, second only to one in Indonesia. In interviews, Yemisi had explained that the beginning was not easy. She had to gather a team of brilliant young Nigerians who worked day and night, brainstorming and designing until they came up with a workable plan from start to finish. The cassava to sorbitol plant was 100% their own intellectual property. It was designed and built entirely by Nigerians without foreign help. All her effort paid off. Today, her company, Sultry International, is supplying cassava-based sorbitol to the Nigerian market. Sorbitol is a natural sweetener used in toothpaste, oral hygiene products, and pharmaceuticals. Her new plant is expected to create over 10,000 direct and indirect jobs for people in Oyo State, where it is located. This success has also transformed the lives of farmers within a 200-kilometer radius of the factory.
We have farmers from all across Okeogun down to Ogomosho, from Abeokuta. So it's about 200-kilometer radius around us.
Cassava farmers now have a guaranteed market. They can deliver their harvest and get paid immediately. For the farmers, nothing is more encouraging than knowing they can sell everything they produce as soon as they harvest it. This certainly pushes them to acquire more land, expand their farms and grow more cassava because they are confident that once they harvest, they are already earning money. But Yemisi's story does not end there. It leads us to another major project, the largest cassava-based ethanol plant in Makurdi, Benue State. While Yemisi was busy building her empire in Oyo State, a Chinese company was busy constructing another huge cassava processing plant in Benue State. In just a short time, the plant was completed, and like MEC, it processes cassava, but this time into ethanol. Ethanol is an important industrial chemical, and Nigeria has been one of the biggest importers. The new factory was designed to help reduce the country's dependence on imported ethanol. Now, it is worth noting how foreign investment works in Nigeria. The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission Act allows foreigners to own 100% of a company registered in Nigeria, but in reality, many foreign firms usually partner with Nigerians to start operations. That is why many of the Chinese companies you see in Nigeria are co-owned by Nigerian stakeholders. Nigeria stands out as a liberal country when it comes to business. It has a massive market and offers very high returns on investment, mainly because of so many sectors that are still untapped. That is why MEC's company is the first and only cassava to sorbitol processing plant in the entire country. The same thing applies to many other industries in Nigeria. In some sectors, there are only 1 or 2 producers, while others have none at all. This is why foreign investors continue to flock into Nigeria. Of course, some Nigerians worry about foreign ownerships of businesses, but as MEC's story shows, what truly matters is the value these businesses create, the jobs, the opportunities, and the development they bring. For example, the ethanol plant in Benue is already encouraging farmers in surrounding communities to take cassava farming more seriously. With a ready buyer for large volumes, farmers are now motivated to grow more. Some people also worry that new demand for cassava will actually affect the price of garri, fufu, and other local foods. The truth is, it depends. Garri, for example, may remain relatively expensive because its production involves several manual steps such as fermentation and frying. But what is clear is that local garri producers now face competition from big companies that can buy unlimited quantities of cassava. Overall, this is still a win-win for the community because thousands of jobs will be created and no cassava will go to waste. For too long in Nigeria, farmers have suffered post-harvest losses. They harvest their crops, take them to open market, and if they do not sell at that same day, much of the produce spoils because there are no proper storage facilities. With people like MEC investing in the agricultural value chain, these problems are being solved. Farmers now have steady buyers. They are paid promptly and they are encouraged to produce more. Already, new cassava processing plants have sprung up in Rivers State, Akwa Ibom, Kogi, and other parts of the country. MEC's company is not the only one taking advantage of these opportunities. Olam Nigeria Limited also benefited greatly from the CBN's foreign exchange restrictions. Years ago, Olam struggled to sell rice because of foreign import, but after imports were restricted, they expanded massively, cultivating thousands of hectares and employing thousands of workers. They also buy cash crops like cocoa and cashew from the Nigerian farmers. Recently, Olam secured about $200 million from the International Finance Corporation to expand wheat and corn production. But here is a simple question many Nigerians ask. With all this big investment, why does the average person still feel no difference? The truth is that the naira has lost so much of its value, and this directly affects the price of goods and services. The cost of bringing them in at today's exchange rate is simply too high. While this looks bad for consumers, it is actually good news for exporters because it makes Nigerian goods cheaper for buyers abroad. The real solution for Nigeria is to increase production significantly. If the country can produce more, there will be enough goods in the market to drive down prices while creating jobs for millions of people. That is the only way the average Nigerian will truly feel the benefit of all this investment. MEC's story proves that agriculture is a gold mine. With courage, innovation, and determination, she turned cassava into a multi-million-dollar business, creating thousands of jobs and inspiring countless farmers to dream bigger. Drop your honest comment and tell us what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Thank you.